So, Tim Hortons, another fast food place that has been setting up all over the UK. I believe they're based in Canada. I've never tried one before. Let's not mess about. Let's go in and try it. Bit aggressive, wasn't it? Okay, so what have I got? I got a load of food here. I've got a donut. I don't have a receipt, unfortunately, which is a shame. I'll try and remember what it is I went for. Okay, we've got a lot. We've got a lot to go through here. Let's start with, we've got a ham hock and cheese melt, and I'll try and get all the prices for you. I think that was about £5, which is pretty damn expensive. Smells good though, and it's fresh. One thing I will say, the service was excellent, very fast as well. Took me about 3 minutes, very, very pleasant staff. Absolutely delicious. Wow, that's really good. Toasters, bread is nicely toasted. Very nice, strong cheese on there. Really salty ham. No way is it worth £5 at all, but tasty. One thing I do know, this meal comes at over £23. I was going to get myself a drink, like a milkshake or something, but that was just so expensive. I think the milkshake on its own was about £4.50, so delicious, but not worth £5. I'll put that to the side for now. Wow, I've got way too much food here, man. What did I get? This was I think this was a chicken BLT wrap. So, not much to see there. Tasty enough. The actual wrap itself is regular tortilla wrap. We've got chicken breast in there, very nicely seasoned, very nicely breaded, nice bit of a crisp to it. An actual minimal salad. Well, not minimal salad, but you know, normally the ratio is tons of salad to minimal chicken, but that's actually pretty good. Get another look there. That's not bad. I'm not mad at that. So far, 2 out of 2, very delicious. Whether they're worth the money or not, I'll find out when I'm in the car afterwards. I should be able to get the prices. Next up, we've got a big one. This is the double bacon cheeseburger. I don't know why I'm showing you that, because I'm going to do it on here. That's actually a good looking burger. And this, funnily enough, it says double cheeseburger, but there's only one patty in there. Oh no, there is two. There is two. One's melted right into the bun. Strangely enough, after the price of all the rest of them, this was only about £5.50 as well. So we've got bacon, gherkins, chopped onions. I like chopped onions. Looks like we've got some mustard and ketchup. Let's get straight into that. I'll tell you what, that is not dissimilar to a Five Guys. That is not dissimilar to a Five Guys burger at all. Man. That's really tasty. It's worth pointing out, it's 1 o'clock. It's not terribly busy in here, but I'm wondering if it's that prime, getting everything ready, so everything's just ready to go. Tastes fresh. The burgers are nicely seasoned. The crunch of the onions really does add a lot. I can't taste much of the bacon, I'll be honest with you. If you gave me that and just told me that was a regular double cheeseburger with onions, I'd believe you. I can't really taste much of the bacon in there. Very, very tasty. And thus far, best value for money. Moving on to the loaded fries. These are the barbecue. I can't remember, I'll put the text up on screen of exactly what they are and what it is they ordered. These are the maple barbecue loaded fries. Lattice fries. A little underwhelming. I don't think these were cheap either. Those are quite boring, to be quite honest with you. Not a lot going on there. Lattice fries, I'm not a huge fan of lattice fries anyway. There's a bit too much going on. I prefer just regular fries. There's a bit too much potato going on there. The actual lattice fries themselves, having said that, they're quite nicely seasoned on their own. There wasn't much of a topping to it. There wasn't really much on there. Didn't really taste much of that outside of the lattice fries, to be quite honest with you. Disappointed with those, not good at all. Now we're moving on to the mac and cheese bites. 5 in all. This one come with a dip, and I chose barbecue dip, because why not? There wasn't actually a great selection of sauces on offer, to be quite honest with you, but okay, let's try one of these on its own first. They're quite tasty. They are delicious, actually. There's a nice herb seasoning on the breadcrumb. The mac and cheese is quite gelatinous, but I kind of like that. I don't know if it's mozzarella. Let's try it with a bit of the barbecue sauce. I'll be honest, I think that's actually kind of good without. I think that's good on its own. They're really quite tasty. Yeah, lovely breading, very crunchy, very crispy. Nice herb seasoning. I'll try and find out what these are as well. Put the ingredients down. You can't taste the mac, so to speak. It just kind of tastes like a regular sort of cheese. What's the ones I'm thinking of? I do like those. Those are very tasty, very tasty. I don't think they were hugely expensive either. And then we've got a Canadian maple donut. I'll be honest, I'm not expecting a huge amount from this. Right, let's give this a go. Yeah, so you can see there's quite a synthetic taste. The maple syrup's got quite a cheap maple syrup taste, synthetic taste to it. It's exactly what you'd think it'd be. It was like £2.20, I think that was, for that, which is not good value. I think I'm going to finish off this food, or at least what I want of it, and then I'll give you my final scores, and I'll find out the prices for everything as well, so I can actually give a proper rundown of exactly what it is I bought and what I think of it, because some of it's good, some of it's good but not worth the money, and some of it's just nah. I figured why not go through my final thoughts back here at the caravan that I'm currently staying in, which is also a great way to promote the last video I did, where you can see exactly where this caravan is and why I'm here. I'm basically here for 5 days on holiday, but you can find out why on another video. Oh, actually, before I do go, I want to reiterate the speed of the food and the delivery was absolutely fantastic. The service was fantastic. The people in the staff were incredibly friendly, very helpful, smiles on their faces, wonderful, really wonderful staff. So I've got to give them that. I say that because what was it I went to the other day? Popeyes. When I went to Popeyes, they could not have been worse. Terrible service there. Tim Hortons, fantastic. So anyway, the first thing that I had was the ham hock and cheese melt. £4.55 this was. Now, as a cheese melt goes, it was delicious. The bread was toasted lovely, very nice and crispy. The cheese had a nice brown melting caramelization going on the top of it, which added to the texture as well. The actual ham hock itself was wonderful and salty and complemented the cheese perfectly. It was a delicious sandwich. As a ham and cheese sandwich goes, I would give it an 8 out of 10. For £4.55, no, £3 I think would be a fair price for that. £4.55 is a bit expensive. I mean, then again, is it nowadays? Do you know what I mean? Taste, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Value, I'll give it a 6 out of 10. That's probably being generous. 5 out of 10 is probably best. The BLT chicken wrap was up next. This was £4.69. This was okay. It was all right. I was... One thing I was very impressed with was the ratio of chicken to salad, because usually, you know what it's like when you get a wrap. It's usually all salad and hardly any filling. This actually had a really decent amount of chicken in there, and the salad was more of an accompaniment that really boosted it. It had some nice crunchy vegetables in there. It was tasty enough. £4.69, not terrible. I'd say in terms of overall taste, I'd probably give it a 6.5 out of 10. Not blown away, but I certainly wouldn't be annoyed if somebody bought it for me. Value for money, I'd say an 8 out of 10. £4.69 for a BLT chicken wrap. I don't think that was outrageous. Next, we had the Tim's Bacon Double Cheeseburger. Ironically enough, this was actually one of the most value for money items. This was £5.65. When you consider what I was paying for the melt and for the wrap, I actually think that was pretty good. This didn't taste dissimilar to a Five Guys burger to me. It really didn't. I've seen some people really slating these burgers. I have to say, I went to this restaurant really expecting to hate it. I've seen some really negative reviews. I was like, well, having said that, we've got a few other bits to go yet. But yeah, the actual burger itself, I thought was great. The 2 patties in there were well seasoned, very tasty. We had a nice amount of American cheese, you know, that really cheap cheese, which is perfect. It's the perfect burger cheese. Nice, crunchy, uncooked white onions. Delicious. So crunchy, just added that extra crisp, you know, that extra texture to it. And, you know, the burger buns weren't overbearing either. They weren't brioche buns. They were normal, just regular hamburger buns with nice sesame seeds on. And, yeah, they weren't, there wasn't too much of it. You know what I mean? You can get too much stodge with it overall. In terms of taste, I'd give this an 8 out of 10. I thought it was absolutely delicious. I've seen people slating these burgers. I thought they was absolutely delicious. And value for money, I'd actually give this a 9 out of 10. I think £5.65 for a bacon double cheeseburger. Having said that, now that I'm looking at the title again, I didn't actually taste much of the bacon in there. The burger itself, if you'd have told me it was a cheeseburger, I would have believed you. The bacon didn't really stand out in it. But overall, I still thought it was delicious. Next up, we've got one of a couple of sides that I got. This was the Mac Cheese Bites, a 5-pack, £2.49. I didn't think that was too bad value, actually, for a nice little snack. Like I said, 5 of them. The breading was really nicely seasoned. I'm not sure what the herb was. Again, I'll try and find that out on their website, see if it's on there. Really nice and crispy, crunchy breadcrumb. The filling was nice and stodgy. I kind of like that. It's kind of like a mozzarella stick, you know, it's that kind of consistency, but I actually enjoyed it. This came with a dip. I chose barbecue. There wasn't a huge selection of dips available. Right? There was nothing particularly exciting or anything that really stood out, so I just went with a barbecue dip. This was actually fine without them. Flavour-wise, I'd give these a 7 out of 10. And value-wise, again, I'd probably give these a 9 out of 10 as well. £2.49 for 5 of them. I think that's about right, actually. I think that was actually well priced. Next, I had the maple barbecue loaded lattice fries, £3.79. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the lattice fries anyway. There's just too much going on. They just feel too stodgy. I prefer regular fries, but I think it's just something Tim Hortons does. The lattice fries themselves, they were okay. They were tasty enough. They had that kind of southern fried coating on them. The loaded part of it, I didn't really get. It didn't really feel like there was much on there, and it certainly didn't add to anything. There was no real flavour that was punching through on that. Overall, I'd give these a 4 out of 10. I wasn't happy with these at all, to be honest with you. But as I said, I'm not a huge fan of lattice fries anyway, so take that with make of that what you will, or take it with salt or whatever sort of other analogy or thing that you do. £3.79 for them as well. Value for money, I'd say 8 out of 10. It's roughly the right ballpark, but then again, no, actually, I'd say 6 out of 10, actually, for value. £3.79 for what you got. There wasn't actually much there either, when you consider what you can get. I don't know how much a large fries is from McDonald's now or whatever, but it's got, what, £2 mark, something like that? Probably a lot more than that now, isn't it? Yeah, not happy with them at all. And then last of all, I had the Canadian maple donut. Didn't enjoy this one at all. £2.49 for a single donut. And it was just cheap, horrible, synthetic tasting, gross. I ate what you saw on screen. The rest of it, I just couldn't be bothered with. It was horrible. Not the best at all in that regard. So again, what I did enjoy though, I thought was great. BLT wrap was all right. The ham hock cheese melt, very, very tasty. Just not really worth the money. The burger I thought was fantastic. Best value for money out of all of it. If just that on its own, I think would have done me. To be fair, mac and cheese bites I thought was the best of the accessories, I was going to say then, the sides, but yeah, and the loaded fries and the donut, nah, not at all. Overall though, I was actually very happy with it. Service was wonderful, the location was good. I wasn't expecting to be able to film in there. Nice to find, not that should be a means for a score, What was the location like for a self-absorbed YouTuber? Oh, it wasn't good? Well, that score's coming down then. God, I'm full of shit. Wasn't really expecting that. Thought I was going to go there and hate it, because like I said, I've heard a lot of people say bad things about it. But yeah, it was pretty good. I think I'd go again, and I know what not to get next time. So yeah, if you have been, let me know your thoughts on it. If you haven't, and maybe check it out yourselves, and make sure you check out the rest of my videos. That was quite a nice segue, wasn't it, as I was nearly belched. I have only just finished the food. Anyway, I'm going to have a nice balance of travel and food stuff coming up over the next couple of weeks. In fact, I'm going to be putting out 2 videos a week. So I'm going to put a travel video out on a Sunday, and I'm going to put a food video out more likely on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. Haven't decided yet. That'll do for today. I've gone on way too long. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Smooth.